Greetings, all. Greetings. This is the morning sky. It's sunny, but the clouds are low and gray. Still, trees green, cocks crowing, roosters crowing. People going, you can hear the noise from the vehicles half a kilometer away. For me, it's relaxing, beautiful. I learned to accept, I learned to live. And really to comprehend the earth around me. I had to learn that when I was a little kid. You know, as a little kid, I used to watch the clouds. And every little kid knows about the lions and the tigers and the elephants and the giraffes. Clouds look like everything we imagine, you know. Then after you begin to work, go to school actually, you forgot about the clouds, it was friends. And then you begin to work and you forgot about everything except work. And if you have the money, you go partying on the weekend. So you're living for the weekend, as the song goes. Pretty soon the weekends are gone and you work 50 years and people literally are afraid to stop working. There are people literally afraid to stop working in the US and Britain. I remember trying to encourage my mom to quit. And she wouldn't do it. My dad to quit. And he won't do it. All he could say to me is, you don't know how hard it is to live. And I'm saying to him, I'm saying to myself, I said, how is it that I'm gonna let my father, he worked, he invested his money, he saved it, but he's still afraid. One day I had to look at him and said, look, make me understand something. And it was the scariest thing that I ever did, conversation I ever had with my dad. I never talked to my dad in this manner before. I said, look, you work for your money. And I expect you to enjoy it while you live. I'm not waiting till you die to inherit your money. That's the dad that you told me, look, save 10%. Every paycheck, save 10%. I understand what that save 10% means. And he says spend half on your living expenses. The other half, you spend half of that on your fun, you know. and half of the one that you don't spend on fun, you put that away, in addition to your 10%. Of course, I didn't do what my dad said to do. Well, I did save a little bit here and there, but I always found something to spend it on. And when I got to be about 40, that's when I really started saving. But I'm saying that to say, to get to this. I came to Africa thinking that the money I saved up, I can live forever on it. And that was a lesson that, well, I learned a lesson that kind of shook me to the core. Because one morning I woke up, had no money in the bank. Not no money. Had money, but no money in the bank. The money that we used to pay our expenses with every month disappeared. And the backup money that I had in case something goes wrong, I'm thinking, if I gotta use that and I get sick, what's gonna happen? So we had to institute some austerity measures. In Africa, people come thinking it's very inexpensive. And you hear people talking about how they live on this much and they live on that much. The rent costs, I don't know, about $6,000 a year. But the diaspora coming to Africa is not African. One of the things I learned was that we are not African. When I say we are not African, I'm not talking about our ancestry-wise. Our thinking is not. As a man thinks, so is he. Remember that. You heard it before. Our thinking is not African. We won't live in a house without windows where the mosquitoes are going to tear us up. We have to have a refrigerator and we cook, put some food away so that you don't have to cook for the next day or however long. Go to the grocery store, buy groceries, put it in the refrigerator so you don't have to go shopping every day. We think forward. The only Africans who do that are the rich Africans. And they only think forward in the money sense. How much money they're going to take from the state and put somewhere else that they can use later. They got a plan. You go on a vacation, I had to buy a car. my daughter is going to university in London or Paris. The other African, the one that we come and sandwich ourselves between the one in the government, the rich, and the poor in Africa. We think our money is going to protect us. We have money to live. That we don't have to work in Africa. Because we don't want to work for those low wages. We work for those low wages in America and England, not in Africa. But we don't think like Africans. African will build 4 walls, has no windows, no concrete floors. Buy a piece of foam, put it on the floor. You might have a couple of plastic chairs in the house. But he sits outside all day under the mango tree, under whatever tree he has in the yard. People hear about something called a bantabar. And when you drive by the village and you see everybody sitting outside underneath this tree, don't comprehend what's going on. Those same people, they have a piece of land and they will plant something every rainy season. During the rainy season, they plant. And if the crop fails, bad shape. They don't put a well on the land so they can plant during when the rains don't come. When they go to the market, they'll go buy 1 pepper, 1 potato, 1 this, a couple of rice, and they cook for that day. They cook, they call breakfast. By 11 o'clock in the morning, they eat. And what's left over, eat for dinner. They cook enough for breakfast and dinner. The next morning, go back and do the same thing. These are things that smiling face that you see in Senegambia, or around the turntable, wherever you live in the Gambia, or shoot, if you live in Accra, that smiling face that you see, it doesn't tell you that. You don't even notice what's going on in Nigeria, in Ghana, Cameroon, because you're busy living behind your walls and not seeing what's going on. A few of you see the news about what's going on in Nairobi now and don't really comprehend what's going on. And I know you don't comprehend what's going on in South Africa right now. And if you look at Uganda, well, there are 5 countries that form the East Africa bloc. If you look at all of them, they will appear, you're looking for a house, I find a cheap house. Looking for food, I can find some food to eat. I can go to the beach, I can drive down the road, and that's all you see. You're not seeing what's going on around you. And you're not prepared for it. Like I tell you in the beginning about my dad, to prepare. He was telling me to save 10% and how to spend money. Spend half. You got a paycheck $100, spend $50 on your living expenses. You got $50 left. Out of that $50, you spend $25. You might want to go to dinner, go out with your friends and all that. But you still got $25 left. African doesn't live like that. And like I said, African doesn't buy a refrigerator, cook and put food in the refrigerator, or go to the store and buy 7 days of food or a month of food and put it inside the pantry or refrigerator. Different state of mind. How are we, coming from the diaspora, going to teach the African to prepare for the future? Going to show the African that if you don't prepare for the future, African is going to remain in the position that it's in. The rich African doesn't care if Africa stays without roads. They still going to buy their 100.5 Toyota SUV, and they don't buy it. The government, the president for the country, buy it for all his rich friends in the government. And if anybody tries to change it, look what happened in Guinea. Look at what's going on in Niger. Benin cut off their oil because the president of Benin is a Frenchman. He's got French troops on in Benin, went to attack the people that kicked the French out. They hired people to blow up the pipeline and kill the people who were watching over it. This is what Benin, what kind of thinking is this? If we don't come with a mindset that we are going to have, instead of looking at this, looking for the smiling face African, who I told you already, that smile is just a transaction to get your money. Let me put a caveat on this, because 20% of Africans were generally gentle people. 20%, just like anywhere else in the world. The other 80% will follow wherever the tide is going. If the bad 20% is in power, like they did in Rwanda, where they rise up and start killing people, 20% going to try to save people, and the other 60% going to join the other 20%, start killing people. And you're stuck between that niche where you can't get out of the country like the rich people can. They can call an airplane, be at the airport in no time. They have suitcases with money. Remember now, you saw the videos. They have suitcases. And when things go south, they throw the suitcase in the back of their car and drive either across the border or to the airport. Gone. Where are you going to go? You're going to wait till the U.S. send an airplane into that country to bring you out. And it's going to cost you 3 times what a regular flight's going to cost. And most of you don't have that cash available. I'm talking to you about these things because you need to be aware. Africa is not just this place to come and set up shop and relax and sleep. The things happening around you, it's a dynamic place. Some of the things that are happening are great. But like I said, 20% of the place is great. The other 80% is like a war against you. Enjoy your day wherever you are. I hope you're looking at, after I point these things out to you, that you look at them carefully. Not to scare you, but to prepare you. And to prepare the African especially. Because he doesn't know what's going on in Africa. Peace. Have a great day wherever you are.